Hello, and welcome to Tea Time with Tynan number 5. I was a little bit aggressive about the time today, so I'm really exhausted and I actually need my tea today. Last night, my friends and I found out that there are tennis courts here that are open late and are lighted, so we played tennis till like 11 p.m. And then I couldn't just go back to sleep when I got home. Today I'm drinking tea called Ganlu, which I got when I went to Mendingshan in China a couple years ago. And it's like one of the only green teas I have. Oh, I moved the camera so you can't really see it. How are you guys doing? Oh, wow. Look at this. Somebody knows about it. Mending Ganlu. Dude, I'm impressed. I feel like I know a lot about tea, and I hadn't heard about it till I went there. But it's so good. Let me see if I can show you guys a picture. I think it's even pretty beautiful tea. No, I'm not going to get it with this focus. No. All right. Oh, well. Let's see. What's up, Lenka? Good to see you. Yeah, big fan of this one too. I was, I don't know, I feel like lighter Chinese greens aren't usually something I go for, but super, super good. Hello from Buenos Aires. What's up, Chris? Recognize your name for sure. I feel like maybe some people don't come to this because they think it's all about tea. I've been thinking about changing the name, but I don't know. It is always going to be tea with me. So what else could it be? You know what? I need to increase my font size so I can actually read what you guys are saying. There we go. Cool. Huang Ya, yellow leaf or no? Huang something. I have another one here on my little, look, this is another one. I don't know what the name is, but Random Black from Mendingshan. It's also really good. It actually kind of tastes like a Taiwanese kind of black. Let's see. Hello, Hassan. Dude, I recognize your name too. That's one of the most fun things for me about going here is I see all the names that like show up in my email or in my comments and stuff like that. And I have like such positive associations with everyone. So yeah, super cool to see everybody's names. What's up, Humphrey? Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Man, we got to get you to change your name. It's such a, like, I like you and you ask some of the best questions, but that name is so bad. So I like what is it called? Their Genmaicha is very good. Their Super Green is really good. They have a special section called Garden Direct, which are like some smaller batch better ones. I wouldn't say every single one is good, but a lot of them are really, really good. So I haven't ordered any recently, but that's what I usually get. I did have an amazing couple of weeks. Thank you. I went to Maui with some of my favorite people from San Francisco who were just like super, super hardcore about COVID. So like I didn't see them for 14 months. And yeah, it was great. It was super fun. I'd say Maui is my least favorite of the Hawaiian Islands, but still Hawaii. It's still beautiful. And just so awesome to see those friends. Really, really enjoyed that. And then I went to Hilo after that, which I wrote about in my post yesterday. And man, I just love that city more every time I go. It also feels good to be back here. Oh yeah, and the diving was crazy. We did a night dive. I've never done a night dive in Hilo before, so it's kind of crazy to just like jump in the water without having any idea what was going to be down there. And there were so many of these black, scary sea urchins that aren't there during the day. I guess they like hide in the cracks and then they come out and they're poisonous. And so, yeah, that was a little scary, but it was cool. We saw like huge sea turtles that were so big, like much bigger than anything I've ever seen before. Saw a ton of eels. It was great. And my friend that I went there with, I got him into scuba diving, and then he got even like some really advanced training, a lot more training than me. But we hadn't had a chance to dive until then. So yeah, it was super, super cool. Really enjoyed it. What's up, Adam? I recognize you. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Uh, nice. Yeah. I've seen you here before for sure. What's up, John from Santiago? I like Santiago, man. That was, I would say that in general, South America isn't like my favorite place to travel. I don't go there too often, but had an awesome time in Chile and Santiago. Also in Atacama Desert, a little north, was really cool. One of the things I liked about Chile is that they have a really good bus system, and it's such a narrow, tall country that it's just sort of like a line. Like you can get on, off anywhere you want. Really, really cool. Okay, Huang Ya, Yellow Bud. Sweet, I'm gonna try it. Man, you gotta travel with your tea set, man. It's the next level. What's up, Fatima? Great to see you. Fatima messaged me on Instagram right before saying she wasn't going to be able to make it, so super happy to see you here. Thank you for showing up. Hey, dining and diving, both, right? So Maui's my least favorite because it feels to me like Maui is where like the white people came and just like pushed out all the Hawaiians and then kind of like just built like a fake Hawaii inside it, almost like it's like Disneyland or something. Like I think I literally maybe saw one Hawaiian the entire time I was there. So I don't know. I'm used to Hilo where it's like, I don't know, it must be like 50% Hawaiian and like locals and people who live there. So yeah, I don't know, but it is really beautiful. They've got beautiful beaches. The volcano there is super cool. So there is a lot of cool stuff. Just not my vibe overall, but had an awesome time seeing my friends. What doesn't fit for you in South America? I wouldn't say there's anything like specifically that I hate about it or anything. I don't really dislike it. I've been to maybe 10 or 12 countries in South America and honestly had a good time in all of them. It's just, it just doesn't like when I go to Budapest or Tokyo or a lot of other places, I just like feel really drawn to the culture, feel really drawn to like come back and see more. And I'd say a lot of places in Central or South America, I'm like, oh, that's great. Good enough for me. Yeah. What's up, Danny? Sorry for taking so long to reply to your email. I did reply this morning, so hopefully you saw it. I don't use lux sensors, but it's funny. I was just thinking about it like yesterday or something. I kind of forget. Yeah, I can't remember. No, I don't use them. In fact, I don't really use too many sensors at all. I have a few motion sensors that I still have to set up. I just set up some speakers in my backyard on this Wi-Fi receiver so I can figure out the API so I can control it. So what I want to do is make it so when I walk outside, it plays Hawaiian music, because the other day I was floating in the pool playing Hawaiian music just after I set up these speakers. And I thought, man, this is about as luxurious as life can get. So what I try to do is mostly do it based on time and occupancy. Yes, I do stake. So I stake almost all of my Ethereum. I also stake some on, or not stake, but yeah, I guess stake on Yearn.finance. I'm in the staked ETH curve pool. Wouldn't say that I know enough about that to recommend it to other people, but for sure, if you have Ethereum, you should just stake it regularly. I'm so into, I've always been into Ethereum for many years now, but just read some super interesting stuff about it recently that has me like even more excited about it. Let's see. Hi, this is a good question. Hey, Tynan, you got rid of most of your stuff you had in Austin. Now you have, I'm guessing, plenty of stuff in the different homes. Do you feel tied down by new stuff? No, not at all. Why is that? So I'd say I still probably have much less stuff than average. Like this is the only shirt you'll ever see me wear because I only have one shirt. But I've got golf clubs over there and I have a tennis racket. So I don't really mind having stuff. What I don't like is when you have so much stuff that it becomes an impediment. I think also I'm just sort of in a different place in my life now where I'm never going to have to sell this house. So I can be like a little more permanent about it. But I do think it's important to like, yeah, not have a bunch of junk everywhere. So how does ETH staking work? So ETH staking is incredible. If you want to learn a lot about how this all works, look up, search YouTube for Sound Money with Justin Drake. It's like a podcast kind of video thing where one of the Ethereum developers talks about the benefits of proof of stake. And essentially what it is proof of work is what Bitcoin uses, and it's also what Ethereum uses now. And essentially the idea is that you have to burn all this computing power essentially to secure the network. And what proof of work does is, instead of saying, hey, I've done all this work on my computer to prove that I should have a vote. I mean, that's not totally accurate, but roughly. Instead, you're saying, I have a certain amount of crypto and I'm sort of backing my vote with that. So if I do something unethical, you can take some of it. And what's really interesting is it totally solves the environmental problem of crypto, which is like a pretty real problem. And it also, which I didn't understand before this week, makes the network much, much more secure than proof of work. And so proof of staking essentially staking your Ethereum is essentially that you can do that with your Ethereum now. You help secure the network and you earn a yield. So in the same way that a miner would typically earn something for processing transactions, now you earn it as a staker. So really, really interesting stuff. I mean, the technology alone is incredible. Doing it is pretty cool. I stake my own on my server, which is pretty neat. It's like, I've believed this is the future for probably about a decade or almost a decade. But just now recently, it feels like, crypto is like 100% the future, not just probably. And it's all sort of like becoming, that future is coming very quickly. It's sort of interesting. What's up, Hannah? Hannah, great to see you. Thanks for coming back. Now that you have your first crypto account, where can you learn more about it? I think CoinDesk is like sort of like the blog for this sort of stuff. It's a good overview. And then there's just a lot of good YouTube videos with like super nerds just kind of explaining how it all works. So that's where I learned this stuff. Yeah, so you really don't need Coinbase anymore. You can do things like Yearn.finance, DYDX, and actually last month I read that a ton of money is coming out of all the centralized exchanges and going into these decentralized exchanges, which is really, really cool. I think it's a good sign for crypto in general. I only have a little bit in Yearn, mainly because I'm locked almost all of it up in regular staking. This is a Woolen Prince shirt. What's up, tutto bene? Honestly, I don't know, because basically my wife just takes them every once in a while and just washes them. It really depends. If it's like winter time and I'm like not sweating, you really almost never need to wash them, like once every few weeks, I would say. If it's like summer and I'm outside, it's every few days to a week, maybe, something like that. Zach T, what is the difference between staking and BlockFi interest? So I'd say to you, it's similar. You get a percentage on your Ethereum. And these days, BlockFi is lower, but it's similar. With BlockFi, the risk is that BlockFi will go out of business, or they're a scam, or they're loaning it to people that can't pay it back and they won't be able to recover it or something like that. With staking, I mean, I don't want to say there's no risk, but it's sort of all in your hands. I guess the risk would be that you would lose your staking keys or something like that. So I also just sort of like, in principle, I like staking personally better because I feel like I'm doing something useful and I'm kind of contributing to the decentralization network in a very, very small way. But I think different people would be comfortable with different things. Like my wife only does BlockFi; she doesn't do staking. Let me drink some more tea. So what questions do you guys have? No specific topic today. Let's see, I had some ideas. I was thinking about talking about crypto because I'm excited about it. Oh, actually, let me tell you guys why I couldn't sleep last night. I had this ingenious idea. that I was very excited about. So I'd say that there's not much that's bad with Vegas, but for sure it gets hot in the summer. And you know, you have a pool, you can go on the lake, and that's really fun. But actually, do you guys remember that girl Lisa who came on the last one of these? She went on a date with Noah on the video. So I follow her on Instagram now, and she's a real estate agent, and she posted this incredible house up in Mount Charleston area of Vegas. So that's like 45, 50 minutes away from where we live, and it's where I go skiing all the time. And so it's so high up that like right now it's probably like 85 to 90 in Vegas. And up there, it's like maybe 60 to 70 degrees. So it's like a totally different climate 40 minutes away. And so she posted this house that was this incredible, like beautiful house. It looks like it's something from Tahoe with pine trees and a hot tub and a deck and all this. And so I started, but it's very expensive. It's like 1.6 million. But it got me thinking, what if there's a cheaper house I could buy up there so that I could have like a summer house in the same city, and I'll buy it with my friends. And then if it's super hot, we can just take turns spending a week up there. And it's like, even in the summer, I think at maximum it gets us like 80 degrees. There's beautiful hiking there. So I'm going to go hiking today to check it out. And then in the winter, it's so close to the skiing place. We could like ski, go hang out there, go back. So thinking about that, pretty exciting, right? Oh, it's my good friend Gabor. Good to see you, man. Gabor runs Jiao, which is the #1 best tea house in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Seriously, it's so good. And I miss it so much. I check like all the time to see if I can go back to Budapest. I might even try to go in June. So good to see you. Today I am drinking, I guess, oh shoot, I've just oversteeped this like crazy because I got excited about my mountain house idea. I'm drinking Ganlu from Mendingshan, which I bet you probably know what it is. I'd never heard of it till I went there, but one of the other people here knew about it, which is really, really cool. Oops, let's see. So how much of monthly revenue would you invest in crypto? It really depends what you care about and where your priorities are. I don't think there's any right answer or wrong answer. I have a good friend here in Vegas who kind of, you know, she can cover her life expenses. She has some money saved up, and she puts 100% of her salary, I think, or roughly 100% of her salary into it after whatever she has after tax. She dollar cost averages every day. I know some people put nothing in, and, you know, for them, that's probably the right thing. So I think it really depends. And, you know, if you wanted to answer, we could talk about it a little bit of, you know, what your goals are and kind of where you're at financially. We could definitely talk about that. I think for our generation, it's sort of like the biggest opportunity out there. I have most of my money in it, like 90-something%. And I consider taking money out once in a while. And even though I have access to a lot of other good investments, when I do the math on it, the EV, like nothing's even close. So I just don't take any out. Oh gosh, I oversteeped this so much. All right, hold on, let me do a quick steep. Get my tea adjusted here. This is what I don't know if this is what other people do. When I oversteep, I do a super quick one and blend it in. Let's see if that's good. All right. I don't know. I used to love my Earth Runners, but I haven't worn them in so long. Don't really have, not sure. One of your old articles, you said you can't imagine not having kids if you were comfortable. Can you explain why? Yeah, so it's interesting. I always thought I would have kids, and the reason was I'm an older brother, I'm an older cousin. I used to babysit. Like, I just love kids. I like playing with them. I have a nephew now, and I just like love playing with him all day. When we were in Hawaii, one of my friends brought her kids, and I just like playing with them. I just really like kids. And then actually, I'll tell you the real story. What happened was I was dating somebody who my mom really liked. She was great, but I was dating someone my mom really liked, and I think it was the kind of person that you could see would be the kind of person I would settle down with. And we broke up, and my mom was very upset because, my mom wants like grandkids. She wants me to be married. And she said, maybe that was like your one chance to get married and have kids. And, you're going to see life pass you by, and your friends are going to have kids and they're going to get married, and you're going to like think that you missed out and all this kind of stuff. And it was interesting because as she said that, I thought about it, and I realized that some of my friends were in like marriages or really good relationships. And I wouldn't say I envied them, but I like certainly admired that about them and like aspired to it. And then I realized that I actually have friends who have like the best kids ever. They have such great kids. And I never felt that same urge of like, oh, I wish I had them. So that was one big thing. And then the other one is that I have a younger cousin who I'm super, super close with. And I felt like I was probably one of the bigger influences on her life because we sort of had a lot in common. We both like learning stuff. So we would like learn Chinese together. We tried to learn like shorthand writing together and all this kind of stuff. But she was like young enough that like she could like if I was super irresponsible in high school, she could have like been my daughter. And one day I found out that she drank, which is like totally fine. I think she was even 21 or something like that. But something about it sort of gave me this idea. I'm like, oh, like even if you're really close with somebody and you have that kind of relationship, I don't know, maybe like they can still surprise you. You still don't know about them. Maybe they'll take a turn you wish they didn't take. And so I don't know, there was something about it that made me sort of think like maybe I'm too much of a control freak to have kids. My issue, not hers at all. So yeah. But who knows? I wouldn't say I'm 100% against kids. I just think right now, zero interest, but could happen. I don't know if Gabor wants to do this, but my recommendation is if you want tea from Zhao Zhou, email him, tell him your budget, and let him choose, because Gabor and actually the other people at the store too have amazing taste in tea. And one of the things I miss most about it is going there and just them preparing some random tea that I get to try. So now actually you should probably order from them soon. I like it when they choose. Okay, yeah, this is a good question. How do you do math, the EV of crypto investing? So, some things you can really calculate the EV for, with pencil and paper with a spreadsheet. And other things you have to do it a little bit more abstractly. And crypto is certainly one of those things, at least for me. Maybe there are people that know more and they could do it in a more concrete way. But I think a lot of what my poker background prepared me for, my gambling background, as well as even some of the pickup background, it helped me make good decisions when you have to do that sort of fuzzy EV math. So that's something I really like doing. So if we talk about crypto, I think we have to think about what are the likely outcomes of crypto. I used to say that it could go to zero. I don't really think that's true anymore. I think you have to consider it because certainly there's some chance it could go to zero relative to like other investments where like your US dollars are not going to go to zero. But I think at this point, that's almost impossible. But I think we could say that it could go down by 75%. I think that's actually fair to say. And so, so just as a baseline, whatever money you're putting in, you have to assume that it could go down by 75% and you need to be okay. And I would say you also need to be able to hold it for a certain amount of time if you believe in it. So that's sort of the downside is potential 75%. I personally think it's a very low chance of that, but part of making these decisions is recognizing your biases. And I know that I'm biased. So if I think it's a 1%, I'm saying maybe it's 5% or something like that. So then we have to think about the upside. What does it actually look like if crypto wins? So I think my personal belief, again, my bias is that crypto will win. I think it's inevitable. And the reason I think that is because I think fundamentally it's so much better than our existing financial system that it has to win. Like if something's like 5% better, it doesn't have to win. If it's 2 times or 3 times better, I think it has to win in the long term. Doesn't mean it can't change or that the other one couldn't catch up, but I think just where we're at now, I think it kind of has to win. I think it is also winning at this point. If crypto wins, I think it is almost inevitable that Ethereum is the big winner in that. The primary reason is that the Ethereum Foundation makes excellent choices. They've made so many difficult choices along the way, and they've all been right. And they seemed right at the time, and then they seemed even more right in retrospect. Bitcoin, I think, could be surpassed because it was sort of like a first draft, and we didn't know what crypto needed. Now, Ethereum, we do know what crypto needs, and Ethereum can sort of address that. So there are new coins coming out, but I think Ethereum has such a big advantage that these other coins are going to be built on top of Ethereum, as most are, which obviously benefits Ethereum as well. And I also think Ethereum is so far ahead that it will essentially be impossible for another one to overcome it. So if Ethereum wins, what does that look like? I mean, I think we don't know, and I think it's impossible to say, but I think it's many multiples of where it's at now. I read a really compelling article the other day about why they think Ethereum will go to 30,000 to 150,000. And I don't know about those numbers specifically, but his reasoning was really fascinating and made a lot of sense to me. So just at a very simple level, it could go down 75%. It could go up, let's say 10x or 30x. So, we have to say, okay, maybe we're biased. There's some fuzzy math in there, but I think it's very hard to adjust that math to the point where the upside isn't a lot bigger than the downside. And so when you do that, my takeaway, and it would be a different takeaway for other people, I know that I can always make enough money to support myself. I know I have enough money saved up even out of crypto that I'll be fine. I don't have super high expenses. So my math and the math of a lot of my friends is put everything into crypto. But again, that's for me. I'm not saying you should do that. That's for everybody else. Sorry, that's a little long-winded. I hope that answers the question though. Yeah, I think Mount Charleston is super cool. I'm really curious to see more of it. I'm going to go up today and check it out. So I think somebody actually wrote this below. It's actually they've done studies, and it seems like it's better to just buy up front, which makes sense because if the EV of something is positive, then you want to have as much exposure to that as possible, as early as possible. But obviously, it's going to be higher variance probably. So actually, my friend who dollar cost averages every day, they made a little script to do it automatically with the Coinbase Pro API. And I think they're going to make it public soon. So that's something maybe I could talk about in the future. What websites, blogs do you read and trust the most? I don't read a lot of websites and blogs, which it sort of makes me feel like a hypocrite sometimes. I love Derek Sivers' blog. I mean, I read my friends' blogs, really. I read Leo's blog sometimes. I find a lot of the best stuff that I come across is I just sort of randomly come across, one article at a time. I don't know. I really used to love Sebastian Marshall's blog, but he doesn't write it anymore. I wish I had better recommendations. I love blogs. I think it's fun to follow somebody and read their stuff. And, especially when you can find somebody who sort of thinks like you. I really like it. Maybe I should look for more. I started subscribing to a couple financial ones recently. Dang it, I don't remember the name. They get it by email. I have no idea what it's called. I'm not sure. Yeah, ledgers are really cool. I use a ledger as well. Great question. Should I learn to program on blockchains if this is going to be the new financial system? Absolutely, I think you should. I think, investing is sort of a way to if you already have money, if you have a way of generating money to multiply it, hopefully, or increase it at least. If you're starting from nothing, or you're in that phase of your life where you want to build, start building your wealth, I think it's one of the biggest opportunities right now. Email me. I have some ideas if you want to make something, give you some free ideas. Let me tell you about my sauna build. So Denny, for reference, a really cool thing he's doing. He's building a sauna that runs on 120 volts. So he sent me some. He can even post it here if people are interested. So he doesn't have to run a new circuit for it. He's making a real one. I think a Finnish. Is it a Finnish sauna? I think you're making a Finnish sauna. Anyway, it looked really cool. So my dream is to build a steam room. I love steam rooms of like sauna, steam room, hot tub. Is there anything else? I guess those are three. Steam room is my number one favorite. In fact, that's another thing I missed from Budapest is they have incredible steam rooms in the big like spa complexes. So I'm going to build one of those. I'm actually in the room I'm in now is a converted garage. And so this side of it is my tea room. And then I have a Japanese tea room over there. And then over that side is a gym. So I have to like make a wall or something. And I was going to originally put steam room and sauna in here, but then it was, I forget how much it was going to be. It was like $30,000 to run a drain for the steam room. And there's like no steam, like it's like a gallon per week it was going to drain. It just seemed insane to pay that much. So decided to build it outside near the pool. And I'm like good enough at building stuff that I would definitely figure out how to do it, but it would be frustrating and take forever. But my dad is incredible at building stuff. And so he's going to fly out here in a couple of weeks and we're going to build the sauna steam room, sort of like not complex, but building. It's going to be side by side together. So I'm so excited to do a project with my dad. It's sort of like one of the ways we bond. It's going to come out probably 10 times better because he's doing it with me. And yeah, I'm just really excited to have like the whole like spa thing over here. I've always wanted that. Even in my little apartment I had before, I have this infrared sauna that I put like in the storage closet. Like I pulled everything out of the storage closet, ripped off the doors, and like built it into there. And the only reason I got a sauna is because I can't have a steam room. Yeah, I poured something loose here. See, I knew that Gabor was going to know what it is. Sweet dew, Ganlu. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, come to the Mountain House, man. I can't wait to see you. Please say hi to Agnes and everybody else for me. I don't know if anybody else I know is still there, but Gabor and Agnes are like two of the best people in all of Budapest. They're really great. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people are on Medium. I sort of hate Medium. Probably because I made a blogging platform and I feel like we're very like similar in some ways and then different in ways that annoy me. So have you updated your travel tips? What sort of travel tips? I don't know. I wrote a book called Forever Nomad that I think is sort of my latest snapshot of how I look at travel and living around the world and stuff like that. Probably won't write another one. I feel like maybe I wrote a lot of that book at Zhao Zhou, or I did all the editing at Zhao Zhou. Yeah, I think I'm probably done writing books, but you never know. I always say that and then end up writing more. Hammam is the best. I visited this house in Kazakhstan of a pretty wealthy guy. And he's giving me the tour of the house and it was like very nice. Like, oh, beautiful house, beautiful house. And then he showed me that he had a private hammam in the basement and it was like steam room, sauna, bath, and even had like that big marble table. So like you could get the crazy massage with it, take off all your skin. Really cool. I think that might've been one of the things that inspired me actually. Man, a lot less questions than usual today. Maybe I've answered everything over the previous ones. Maybe I should start doing themes for some of these things. Oh, that's a good question. Oops. Oh, we'll go back down. What are your thoughts on the housing market right now? Seems much more difficult to find as compelling deals as you did. I think that's true, but I think one thing to consider now is that interest rates are so low that I now think it makes sense to get a mortgage. I would never get a mortgage. Like I would never borrow like 500,000 if I didn't also have 500,000 somewhere else backing it. And that's sort of a personal thing. I just don't like the idea of like, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it. So like when people have like a net worth of 100,000 and then they buy a $500,000 house, that really freaks me out. But I do think, it's worth factoring in that like money is probably available now at the inflation rate or less than the inflation rate. And so I think that there are sort of compelling ways to do it where let's just say you were going to buy a $300,000 house. There are pretty easy ways to get 10% on that. So let's say you have 300,000, you invest it, then you get, you get your 30,000 per year. Well, you could get a mortgage for that $300,000 house that would probably be around $1,300 a month, maybe $1,500 when you include fees and all that kind of stuff. So you're sort of getting that house. Sorry, I did that math really poorly, but you're sort of getting that house for 150K when you think about it, because 150K of interest earning could pay for that $150,000 house. So that was actually part of why we bought this house. Is I realized that we had 2 condos that we'd paid cash for that essentially there was an opportunity cost there. And so we sold them, and now we use the interest off that for this $300,000 to $400,000 house. I think that, that said, obviously, like, now my condo's worth more than twice what I paid, so it's probably not the same deal it used to be. But I do still think there are compelling deals out there. I think that if there are probably other cities, like, I still think Vegas is relatively a good deal, but it's certainly not like the crazy, crazy good deal it used to be. But I don't know. I mean, now my friends and I are here where we've all bought these $300,000 or $400,000 houses that are like huge and have pools and stuff like that. So I think that's still like a very good deal relative to other stuff. But yeah, it's different for sure. I don't do anything super exciting, but I'll tell you something cool that my friend Nick does, who was actually on here before. He goes on Instagram and starts basically trying to find the restaurants there and like the chefs that they sort of follow, or like who are like all the good restaurants following. So in Hilo, for example, all those restaurants that I wrote about yesterday on my blog they all follow each other on Instagram. So the way we found Dason, the amazing sushi guy, is we just saw him on Instagram and he was following some of those people. So I think that's one way. I always look at Yelp. And then the other thing I do is I try to, I go to these sort of smaller places and I ask the people who work there if I find one good restaurant, I ask the other people where they eat. And I found a lot of them there. How do you research new tools? For example, lard for travel. What is that a typo of? Lard for travel. Land for travel? Don't know. Usually the way it starts is, I'd say there's 2 ways. One thing will be that I'll have like my laptop charger, and just every 3 to 6 months, I just search to see if there's a better one. So stuff that I know I'm going to always have, I just always try to see if there's a better one out there. Even stuff like my camera that I'm recording this on that I don't usually travel with, I will like just see if there's a better one, just out of curiosity, because sometimes even if I don't travel with it, if they have a better version, maybe I would. And then for new stuff, I often just think like maybe there's some problem I want to solve. So like, for example, with tea, I was like, I keep breaking my teapot that I travel. I said the ceramic one I travel with, is there like a better one? And so I just keep searching until I found this titanium one. But yeah, usually there's some problem I want to solve. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, here, what's interesting about Vegas is for 300,000 to 400,000, we basically have houses that I think would be like 2 million or something in LA. I'd actually rather live here anyway, but even if you didn't, it's like, we sort of have this like multi-million-dollar experience here. We're like, we all live in the same neighborhood now. So like last night we all played tennis together. There's a golf course nearby. So we I don't know how to play golf, but we go to the driving range. It's pretty fun. So, there's palm trees everywhere. I don't know. It's like, you can really kind of like find these niches where certainly it's like a level up from like living really frugally in the condo, but it's also like an outsized value, which tends to be what I look for. Roman, what's up, man? I miss you. Yeah, if you lard yourself up, yeah, true. That's got to try it, got to experiment. What percentage you put down in your house? What do you pay for PMI? Truth is, I don't know. I actually had a friend just loan me the cash because I wanted to make a cash offer super quickly. So I'm just paying him interest right now for a few years, and then we're going to reformat. I'll refinance or something or whatever. So yeah, sorry, boring answer. Oh, cool. Previous tea time, you mentioned blog newsletter, Andrew Beal from 30,000 Feet. Yeah, I really like it too. There's actually a new one in my mailbox today, but I woke up so early I didn't have the chance to read it yet. He's really good. He's one of my friends in real life. I'm trying to convince him to move to Vegas, which I think actually would probably happen. I think it's one of his top contenders. Really, really sharp guy. He's actually the one who got me into BlockFi. I really trust him a lot. So like I was like kind of nervous about doing these things to earn interest, and he encouraged me to. This is something I'd be thinking about. Actually, maybe you guys could help me and give me some feedback on this. Have you considered running an online Superhuman event? I've thought about it. Here, my hesitation is that I think people come primarily for the advice or like the one-on-one connection. And I think at least 50% of what they leave with is a new group of friends, of like peers who are like into weird stuff too. And I kind of like that there's like this element of like, you come here thinking you're getting one thing and you do get that, but you also get something else that's awesome. And so I worry that online wouldn't have that. But also maybe there's some benefits to online that, you know, other people could go. I could obviously do it a lot cheaper. I'd be curious, would people come to an online Superhuman event? Like certainly I would try it for fun. And maybe if I think it sucks, I'll just give everybody their money back or something like that. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if that's something people would be interested in. I just, you know, to be really honest, like I love doing these events. It's my favorite thing to do. I can't wait to do more of it. You know, and like financially, it doesn't really matter to me whether I do it or not. Like I want to be compensated for my time, but it's not really going to move the needle given that I don't do that many and some other stuff. So what really matters most to me is that people really feel like it's like a great value and that they really get a lot out of it. And so, yeah, I just want to make sure that it would be something that like people would really actually, I want people to actually get benefit, feel like they benefited, but also really benefit. Like I want their life to actually get better. I feel like a lot of these things, like you kind of feel like you got better, but nothing really happened, which is sort of the opposite of what I want to do. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe I'll think about it, especially because now I can't really do it. Yeah, we'll see. You're always so nice to everyone. How do you avoid getting tired of people, especially when they aren't your regular set of friends? That's an interesting question. So I think maybe more than it seems, I really limit my exposure to outside people. Like if people try to introduce me to people, usually I say no. I try not to make new friends. I spend a lot of my time alone because I like being alone, sort of an introvert. So I think I do have a lot of time by myself, which I really like. I think if I didn't have that, I probably would get tired of people, to be honest. So I'm not sure exactly who you're talking about. I think like online people are like readers, like everybody here. Well, you know, like you, you I've gotten to know, a lot of people on here I've gotten to know, and I just, you know, my readers are like awesome people. So I don't know, maybe that sounds patronizing, or maybe that sounds like, I don't know. I just like the people. So, you know, it's easy to be nice to people you like. I'm also just grateful because I think a lot of the good things in my life have come from my blog. And so if you guys didn't read it and interact with me and kind of let me know what's going on, well, you know, I think I'd be in a worse place. So yeah, so I really appreciate a lot of people. I'd say in real life, there's a few factors. One of them is I just think my life is so awesome that I mean, maybe this sounds bad, but like, for example, let's say I'm at like a restaurant and like I'm super nice to the waiter, because really what I'm thinking in my mind is I'm thinking like my life is so probably awesome compared to yours that like, you know, I'm not looking down on the person, but I just think I'm so lucky. I just have this amazing life and I'm so happy that like maybe I can in some way try to make their life a little tiny, like 1% better if I'm super nice to them, or try to like, you know, talk to them and like treat them like a person instead of just like some, you know, I don't know, like a robot who works there. I'm not sure if that really answers your question, but just some thoughts off the top of my head for it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Seems like a lot of people are interested in the live thing, in the online thing. Maybe I'll try it. Not too late for the Eastern Hemisphere. Yeah, I'd have to think about how to, wow, a lot of people, all right. Yeah, I guess I have to think about how I would do the timing, but maybe I would do it with, maybe I could do it like the real life events are like 12 hours. It's kind of, you go kind of crazy. Maybe I could do like 6 hours or something that overlaps with everybody. A question for you guys. Can people tell me what are you guys working on these days? Like, what are the big, it doesn't have to be work, although it could be, like, what do you care about? What level are you trying to get to in your life? What are like your big goals? And not like, oh, I want to mow my lawn today, but like, what's something you're trying to do to kind of bring your life to the next level, or like the next big problem you want to solve or something like that? I'd just be really curious to kind of know what are the big things in people's lives here? What are people working on? And, I can give feedback on it or not. I'm just sort of curious to know. Yeah, then I have to wake up early though. I need to make sure I'm at my best. I'm not a morning person, really, unfortunately. You know what I should do is if I go to Hawaii first, then that gets me on the early time. Then I'm usually on early when I get back. Citizen, wow, 7 years citizenship in Argentina. That's a good one. So I want to hear your one big goal. What's the one thing that you want to work on, or that you're working? Sorry, excuse me. One big thing you're working on that will take your life to the next level. So or maybe people aren't doing that. I don't know. That's how I always think about it. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has any ideas on that. It's actually a good one. How do you manage not putting on weight while traveling? I do put on weight when I travel. Not a lot. So my weight fluctuates between 150 and 170. If it gets up to 170, that's probably because I went on a lot of cruises in a row. And then I sort of will regulate pretty well. I just don't want to be fat. I want to be healthy. So I just stop eating so much then. And when I'm in Vegas, I eat one meal per day. Generally, I work out. Today's a workout day, actually. I try to do some healthier activities like skiing or tennis or whatever. So I find it pretty easy to lose weight. I just don't mind not eating that much. Let me see some of these things. All right. See, now this is what I'm looking for. Something like this. Focusing on developing my writing skill to be able to eventually write a great science fiction novel. Yeah, like something like that's cool. I like that. What are you doing to develop that skill? I'd be curious to know. Let's see, Misha. I always thought Misha is like a really cool name. I think it's short for something, right? I think it's really cool. Make my Chinese martial arts practice a daily thing. Why do you want to do that? Just out of curiosity. How does that make your life better? I'm not saying it doesn't. I just want to know. Improving my coaching method to build a health coaching clientele. That's a good one. Cool. What are you doing for that? Shifting my mindset from employee to entrepreneur. What are the concrete actions? I feel like some of these are, I'd be curious to hear what the concrete actions are on some of these. Michael, okay. Cool. I like it. It's always, I don't know why, I've always thought that's a pretty cool name. Been focusing on work for a large corporation for the last 10 plus years, saving money to be financially independent. Cool. How close are you to that? I'd be curious to know. I started reading Fire and Fat Fire recently. I don't think anything makes me feel poorer in life than reading Fat Fire. Those people are just like, they're like, oh, like, which fleet of private jets do you recommend? It's pretty wild. But I also find it motivating. I like it. Working on residency or citizenship and more contents for myself and my partner. What's the point? Why? I'm not saying there isn't a point. I'm just curious. Nice. So it looks like a lot of people are focused on financial independence. I think that's great. I think it's like one of the most important things that you can do. Ah, okay. Misha, great answer. Express it like this. My teacher's 70, much better shape than I am at 40. Yeah, I'm 40 now too. And that's something I think a lot about is like, I don't really care about having ripped abs or whatever, but I do think that like now's the part of my life where exercise is most important because it's going to determine whether I get sick or not when I'm old and whether I have a good life. Something super interesting, by the way, to read is, what's it called? Bill Bryson. I don't know if you guys ever read Bill Bryson books. I love that guy. He wrote a book about the human body. It was really interesting. Learned a lot of stuff. Finally meeting expenses, monthly dividends, interest income. Awesome. Nice. Be careful with those dividends. You don't want to get taxed on those at regular rates. Unless, if they're qualified, you might be okay. Cool. Great. Oh, here we go. Actions. I feel like that's not an action though. Like, what are you doing? What's like a daily practice you can do for that? Maybe I'm just offering unsolicited criticism, but just a random thing, not to put you on the spot, but I think you probably don't mind. I find that goals like that are really hard to reach because they're not concrete, and there's no step that you could take right now that would help you overcome that. So I think it is like the right thing to be doing, but I would be thinking about what's like a daily practice I can do, or like, is there a blog you can read? Is there like a practice you can do to do that? Sorry, maybe I asked the question. Now I'm just spewing out advice that maybe people don't really want. But anyway, it's my show. Do what I want. So can't argue with that. That would be a big life improvement. Yeah, man, you and me both. We're both at that age where it's like, yeah, I think fitness is like, it's probably important in your like 20s and 30s for dating, but kind of doesn't matter what you do then. It matters to some degree. But I think like now that I'm 40, I'm like, all right, like, probably I'm not going to get in better shape than I'm in now, or not much better. So it's like, let's definitely not let it go the other way either. Hustling and monetizing skills I built so far. Cool. I believe that you're a hustler. I really like your attitude. Fatima, probably everybody knows each other now, but Fatima's awesome. She's also regular on Noah Kagan's office hours, which he does every Friday, which are also great. Definitely, I'm his good friend, and I still watch them every week because I think they're so good. Mathematically, I'm pretty much at financial independence, but I don't have a house or place to live yet. Don't know where I want to live. Cool, man. That sounds like an exciting time. Getting to financial independence, even at like a really low level. I was asking my friends recently at what level they felt rich. Noah did something about that too, I think, or no, maybe different. And we all sort of agreed it's like somewhere like that $100,000 to like $500,000 net worth range, which I think is lower than a lot of people think. But once you get there, you at least have like, I think what's interesting about that level is even at like 100,000, which would definitely be on the low end, but I think that's when I felt rich. You have options where you can live off the interest. And maybe it's not like luxurious, maybe it's not what you would actually choose, but there's something interesting about knowing that you could live off interest if you had to. So that's cool. I think you're in an awesome place. It's great. Oh yeah, something I'm going to say about this. I go on a lot of cruises, and what's really interesting, one of the interesting things is you see a lot of old people and you kind of get to know them. And something I realized on cruises is that there are 70-year-olds that are like loving life and are like mentally there, and they're like dancing and like getting around. And there are like 70-year-olds who are like in that like wheelchair thing. And it's not because they have a disease, it's because they're just like fat and out of shape. And like, you can see there's just like not much going on in their heads either. And who knows if it's a cause and effect or whatever, but, or causation correlation, but going on cruises has really shown me that like, there are different ways to be old. And like, some of them are really good, and some of them are like, not good at all. So yeah, I think it is super important. Cool topic. Whoever brought that up, I kind of forget now. Emily, you should have your clients pay you. I've had free clients and I've had paid clients, and free clients just don't take it seriously. Some do. I'm not saying all of them don't, but it's a different experience. And even if you just charge them like $100 or something, like $50, I don't know, something smaller. I think it's a different dynamic. And I've noticed that when people pay, they take it more seriously. And so the dynamic you have with them is better. And there's also something about, I don't know. You also feel like you're being paid for your time. Like if somebody's paying for me for my time, also if it's free, like I want to do the right thing too, but if somebody's paying for my time, I'm like, well, just for my own well-being and my reputation, like I want that to be great money that they spent. And so it fires me up a little bit, and I think you might find the same. What can I say about that? Thank you. Oh, Mario's here. That's great. Good. We are, so yeah, the question is, I would love to see what you think about this. What's something you're working on now to get you to the next level in life? Like, what do you, kind of where's the next step of your life that you want to be and what are you doing to get there? I feel like I keep asking the question in different ways as people give answers. I'm trying to like refine it. But I think that's something I'm really curious about for people in general and something I'd like to help people with in general. I think with coaching, that's what I do mostly. Yeah. Can I ask what you're charging and kind of what you offer? Like what problem are you helping with people? Are you helping people with? I'd be curious about that. Adam, great goal. I think this is one of the, sorry, my nose is running. I got to get a tissue so I stop sniffling. Let me see. Pause. Be right back. All right. All right. No more sniffling. There we go. I got such crazy allergies in Hawaii, and I feel like my nose is still running. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think that people don't think, I mean, I've talked about this a million times, maybe everybody knows, but social circle, I think, is the number one. Once you have like any level of financial independence, like I can work and pay for myself level financial independence. I think that work you do building your friend group and your connections with your friends and your connections with your family is like easily the biggest payoff. So awesome goal. And I know you a little bit, and I think you're an awesome guy. So I think that's not going to be hard for you. Oh my gosh, so many questions now. All of a sudden, there's so many things. Let's see. See, I don't want to hear that. I have really bad posture. See, even now, look how I'm kind of hunching, right? Not good. There we go. Try that. I agree with you, though. I think that does matter. I think fitness does matter a lot, too. I think it's for bone strength, it matters a lot. Cardiovascular system matters a lot. Probably they both matter a lot. Actual goal, multiplying my resource revenue from one to many, exploring new skills. Okay. Great. Man, everybody's into financial freedom. That's awesome. I think it's so cool. Ooh, Denny, you're playing right into me. Look at this. The only goal I have, really. So the yacht goal. Yesterday I watched a lot of yacht videos. I'll tell you the one I want. Sunseeker 82. Look that up. It was made in like the mid 2000s. I think it's the coolest one. So that's my big level up goal. And look, it's a stupid goal. Like it honestly just shows how awesome my life is that the only goal I have is to buy a yacht. But I mean, also I like my goals, I would say on an ongoing basis are to like strengthen connections with friends and family, but those are also really good connections, so still working on that. So the yacht goal is this. If you buy a yacht, the one I want is about $1 million or $1.5 million, which is a lot of money. And I would probably split it with friends, so I hopefully wouldn't have to pay that much. Interesting thing about a yacht is you can charter it out. They're like charter companies, and essentially you'll never make a profit, but you'll make enough that it will sort of cover the running costs every year. So you kind of pay this money once, you get the benefit forever, and everybody knows that's my favorite thing. So my dream with the yacht is this. I didn't take, but my family and I went on an Alaskan cruise a couple of years ago. And it was just one of the best times I ever spent with my family. It was just so much fun. Like we're out at sea, we're spending quality time together. We're like doing these cool hikes all in Alaska. It was really like a bonding experience. I think part of it too is that my wife and my aunt didn't know each other all that well. Maybe they'd been in the same place 2 or 3 times. And I felt like they really built a connection through that. And it was just like a really special time for me. And so then I think like, well, what's the next level? And if I had a yacht, I could always take people on these trips. And I think in some ways it would be more fun too, because like I could drive the yacht, we could like have a flexible schedule, we could go explore new places. I could do this with my friends, but just my wife and I could go. I could even go by myself. Well, probably you can't really do a yacht that big by yourself. So the Sunseeker 82 is really cool that it's sort of like almost convertible between an owner-driven yacht. It's like just small enough that like one person with maybe some friends could manage it, but it's also big enough that it has crew quarters, and even the galley, the kitchen, can be separated off. So which is what super yachts tend to have. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't do it like, I don't know. It's a big goal, right? Like how rich do I have to be where I can spend $1.5 million on a yacht? Pretty rich. Probably like tens of millions, I would say. But I just think primarily the experiences I could give to my friends and my family through it would be unprecedented. Even having the island, which is not expensive, when I bring people there, a lot of what I think is, how else in the world would these people have a private island experience? Like, I wouldn't have one unless I bought this thing. And so I think that bringing these unique experiences to friends is like a really cool way to add value to the circle. And it's just, it's a fun experience for me too. So, so I wouldn't say it really affects my decision-making on a practical level. But if I had it, I think I would spend weeks on it, maybe months on it per year with different friend groups. And I just think it'd be so fun. Get a scuba compressor on there. You could scuba dive off the back of it. Like, how cool would that be? Anyway, it's kind of a stupid goal in that it just doesn't matter. My life's going to be great without it, but I think it'd be fun. Yeah. Sorry. Once I start talking about the yacht, I could just go on forever. Thank you, Fatima. You're awesome. If I were going to bet whether or not you're going to have the level of success you want, I would definitely bet yes. And I think I'm a pretty good judge of these things too. Let's see. Oh my gosh, so many things. Here we go. Oh, bye, Zach. You probably already left. All right. Lenka, awesome goal. I'll tell you what, one little tip on that I found is that if you can strengthen the connections between your friends, then the whole group gets much stronger. I think sometimes people try too much to focus on their connection with each individual person, which is also important. But if you can be the conduit to strengthen other friendships, I think that adds a lot of resilience to the friend group. So that's one thing I like to do. Improving my health, 2 back injuries. Whew, man, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. But I think goals like that are things that are tough. And I'm like, it kind of puts in perspective. I'm like, oh, here I am talking about a yacht. I'm glad I don't have to deal with this sort of stuff. But I feel like things like that, or if you're disciplined, you can get over those sorts of things. Actually, on that Alaska cruise I was talking about, my aunt had a super bad leg injury, really bad leg injury. She couldn't walk for a year. And they said, oh, she's not going to get her full recovery back. And she was hardcore about it. And now she got it all back. Yeah. That's what I liked about ballet too. Actually, maybe I should take ballet again. Ballet was great for posture mobility. That was actually, I forgot. Someone asked me why I took it the other day. One of the main reasons I liked ballet was because ballerinas have such good posture. And I was hoping it would rub off on me, but I think my ratio of time spent on the computer to time spent ballet was maybe a little bit off. But actually, one of my friends who just moved into the neighborhood also does ballet. And so we're thinking about hiring a private teacher to teach us ballet once a week or something like that. Oh, this is a cool one. Learning Korean. Spouses Korean. Nice one. I like that. I kind of miss learning other languages. Yeah, if I bought a yacht, I'd buy it with a bunch of friends. I've talked to Noah about it. I think he's really into the yacht idea. I'm not sure if he would do it or not. I think some of my friends think it's kind of dumb. They probably also haven't watched so many yacht videos as I have, so I kind of know the ins and outs of it. Probably I would buy it with a few people though. Yeah. Oh, just answered it. Okay. Lenka, do you know yachts? Yeah, the Sunseeker 82. It's a good one, right? Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a British yacht company. Wow, that's so cool. Really cool. Well, let's see the actions. Great. Damn, you're on it. That's awesome. Nice. This is one thing I really like about my readers. I feel like everybody's actually on top of all their stuff. Really cool. Wow, you did. Noah and I went sailing when I visited him in San Diego, and I think it almost switched me to wanting to have a sailboat instead of a yacht. And I feel like I should want a sailboat. I feel like it's kind of the right thing to but boy, I like those yachts. Whoa, cool! Look at this. See, what did I say about friend groups? Strengthening friendships between people. Really, really cool. For someone, Adam, you've got great questions. For someone like yourself who's very conscious of building, strengthening relationships, what do you typically focus on to yield the most benefit? Yeah, traveling together is the biggest one. What I like about traveling together is you're forced to do higher quality activities generally. And it also eliminates some distractions. So like when my friends and I went to Maui, even though it's not my favorite place in the world, it's like, well, look, we all lived in the same house for a while. We played games together. We cooked together. We did projects together. Who's ringing my doorbell? Probably Amazon. So I just think it just creates a conducive atmosphere for it. Cruises are the best for that same reason. I guess that's a kind of travel. But there's just so many distractions that are eliminated. This is a harder one, but convincing people to move to the same place is really good. Now we have 3 couples that live in this neighborhood, plus like some friends of friends, and I've got some other people coming. And for example, yesterday I'm just working on my computer and my friends say, hey, we're making chocolate covered strawberries. Do you want some? So they drive over, they give us these chocolate covered strawberries. We start talking about tennis and we're like, let's just go play tennis. And it was just like a blast. And so there's like just that proximity and sort of like reducing the friction between, I'd say maybe that's the key. Reducing friction between bonding activities is the key. So travel does that, and also living in proximity does that. And also even buying properties together does that, right? Because just before this, I was in Hilo with some friends. We would definitely not go there if we didn't own it together, but it's just so easy. It's like, well, let's just get a flight and just meet up there. Maybe for you, I think you live in LA, it might be different ways you would do it. But what I would be thinking about is, how do I reduce the friction for doing like high quality bonding activities? Me too. I love seeing people connecting. That's one of my favorite things about all the live events too, is seeing people connect. I love it. I've never chartered, and I just have this thing, and actually I did look yesterday to see what it would take to charter a 82, and I would consider it. I just hate throwing the money away. It's like, it costs like $100,000 to charter one of those yachts, and I'm like, well, if we're going to buy it anyway, that's like 10% that we just paid. Maybe there's another way to think about it. Like, spending $100,000 on a week seems like so insane to me that I can't even fathom that level of spending. And I know you'd split it, whatever, but like, even if I'm paying a fifth of it, $20,000 a week, like, have I ever spent that much money? Probably not. But like buying one for $1 million and having it for life, it's like, what a bargain. So that's why I don't do it. I'm not saying that's 100% right. It's just sort of how I think about it. I don't know. I could think about it more. Maybe I got to get someone else to charter it so I can just tag along, and that'll convince me. I'm also a little bit patient. I'm not trying to buy a yacht next year, but I think like in the next 5 to 10 years, probably by the time I'm 50, I think I'll have one way or another. Tips on learning languages. I don't think I'm a great language learner. I think I'm like good at getting to a very basic level and then really bad at getting beyond that. I love the Pimsleur tapes. I think they're the best way to like understand sort of the flow of the language, the grammar, how it sounds, the cadence. So I always do the Pimsleur tapes first, and then honestly, I don't have another step after that. I do like flashcards after that or something, or just try to practice it. I'm not very good at it though, to be honest. Ooh, here's another goal. Let's see. Excited about building a tiny house that I'm very young, no idea where I'd want to build it. Sweet. That's a good goal. I like that. Yeah, it's yacht time for sure, right? Let's see. Roman, selling including my large toys I haven't used in here. Float tank, trailer, wood shop, old car, Rialta. Yeah, man, I know how you feel. I've got a Bentley 20 feet from there that doesn't run, and I'm just dying to sell this thing. I'm like literally getting to the point where I'm like, maybe I should just give it away for free just so I don't have to see it anymore. It is interesting how those things really do like clutter up your mind. I mean, this Bentley like doesn't affect me in any way. It's just sitting there. I don't really need the money imminently for anything. But just knowing it's there and like not being able to use the space for something else, yeah, I know how you feel, man. That's great. I would feel good getting rid of that stuff too. Even my apartment, I'm trying to sell my apartment. I got like a totally good offer that I probably should have just taken, but the realtor said I should hold out for a better price. And a lot of me is like, I wish I just took the lower price so I just like not think about it anymore. stuff is real, and I think people don't think about it. And obviously there's some balance. You don't just want to give away everything to get rid of it, but yeah, it's good. Ooh, Yacht Goal. Here we go. I like how you think, Denny. Yeah, 500K plus 2 other friends. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you don't have to be that rich to do it. The thing is that it's not just like, yeah, I mean, at 10 million, you could do it. The question is like, at 10 million, is that a responsible thing to do that's like the best ROI at that point? Like I'd say, for example, right now, like which restaurant I go to, it doesn't matter what the ROI is, right? Because I can kind of afford any restaurant I would go to. So I kind of want to get to that level for yachts, which is obviously a higher level, where like I kind of don't care that it's not the highest ROI thing I could do, because I could do everything else as well. So a lot of things, like I think in some ways I'm actually like pretty financially conservative, where I don't want to buy something until I can buy it and not care about the cost. So like all of these like houses like Budapest and Tokyo and all that, like didn't really matter to me that I couldn't use them this year, because I spent so little on them that it's not like a crazy amount of money. So that's sort of how I think about the yacht. We'll see. Also, the other thing is, maybe I'm going to get there. Like I always wanted to buy a plane. I wanted to buy a Mooney M20J or M20K. And I had it as like the wallpaper of my laptop forever, because I really wanted to buy this thing. And for a while, anything I put on the background of my laptop, I would buy when I was like in my 20s. Even like Private Island eventually got it, right? And then I got to the point where I could buy this plane, and I realized I had zero interest in buying the plane anymore. Like the fantasy of it was a little bit more appealing than the reality, because I was looking into like the maintenance and all this stuff, and I was like, I'll just buy plane tickets. Because it turns out once you get to that level, you can also afford plane tickets much better. And I was like, who cares? I'm just buying plane tickets and I'll work on the plane. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll get to that level of the yacht and I just won't care anymore. Maybe I'll just charter because I don't care about the money. We'll see. Do the Pimsleur tapes for Mandarin. They are so good. That's how I learned Mandarin. It's one of my favorite languages. It's really cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, scrolling on this software is kind of weird. That's why I keep missing stuff. Yeah. Immersion, you have to do immersion for sure. But I think do the Pimsleur first. Once you do Pimsleur, I think then the immersion kind of has like a place in your brain to stick. And so you'll actually remember it. If you do immersion without that, at least for me, I think it would just go right past me. I've never gotten this one. I don't know if my brain just doesn't work properly, but I feel like when I watch shows in other languages, I don't get any of it. Like I watched a show in Japanese or movie in Japanese with the subtitles, and I thought, I don't even need these subtitles. I'm picking up everything. So then I rewatched the same show without subtitles. Yeah, got like none of it. But one time when I was in Japan, I met this girl who spoke great English, and I asked her how she learned, and she said from watching Clint Eastwood movies. She had great English. Didn't sound like a cowboy though, like you would probably think. In terms of strengthening friendships, I find it hard to engage with people on the same wavelength. What do you mean by that? I'd be curious to know. Let's see. Seasteading. That's the thing where you like live out at sea. Not really. Also, hi. How's it going? Not really. I did for a while have this plan to buy an abandoned, or not abandoned, but like thought about trying to buy an old cruise ship. And I kind of worked out the math on one. And it was going to be like $30K per person to own a cabin permanently on a cruise ship. And then it was really hard to figure out how much crew you actually need to run those things. Because like the crew ratio on a real cruise ship is really high, but a lot of them are just trying to sell you garbage or do like Zumba classes. And I never found anybody who knew anything about that. I also kind of realized that it was going to end up being like a full-time job for me to deal with this, and just kind of got over it. So that was the closest I got to seasteading. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me a lot. I like being on the sea, but like I love being in Vegas. I love going to other places. I think I'd want to spend too much time on the land. I know. That really would have been cool. I wish that was the case. All right, how much time? Maybe we'll do another 15 minutes or so. Any more questions, topics, things people want to talk about? Cool seeing all you guys talk with each other, by the way. I would love it if friendships came out of that. That's one of the things I feel most proud of at my live events is when people like actually become friends and like stay friends afterwards. I feel like that's pretty cool. Yeah, you know, I watched a season or two of this show called Below Decks where they show the crew of the yacht. It's really interesting. It actually sort of made me less interested in a crew run yacht because I kind of feel like there's this weird like master slave sort of dynamic there that I don't know. I didn't really like. Obviously, it wouldn't have to be that way with me necessarily. But I think that, yeah, like in some ways you get to know the yacht and see what it's like. In other ways, I think probably being in the crew would drive me nuts. Maybe be a good humility exercise though. I don't know. I think sailboat's different enough too. I have a friend who has like a 40 or 50 foot sailboat. I'm trying to convince him to go from LA to Hawaii, and I would do that. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Fatima is the positivity queen. I love Fatima. I know I say that a lot. She's great. See you later, Misha. Yes, please send me an email. Anybody can email me, by the way, Tynan@tynan.com. I am so bad at replying back sometimes, as Denny can tell you. He like sent me the super nice offer to help me do this video of the home tour, like automation tour, which I'm definitely going to do. And I was like, oh, I got to write him back, but I got to have time. And I just didn't write him back on time. So I'm bad, but please do email me. I 100% read everything. And then sometimes I'm kind of bad at replying. Hold on, there was one that I was going to answer here. Where was it? So the next live event I think is going to be August 13th to 16th. It's going to be primarily a makeup event so I had a full group for my last one that got canceled due to COVID. So half of them came during COVID once kind of everything was kind of all right. We did it mostly outdoors. The other half that didn't feel comfortable with that, I'm doing a makeup one for them in August. And we're going to and I'll open it up to other people too. If you want to be one of the first, you could email me and I'll make sure you get a spot. I'm so excited. So it's interesting that like coaching is something that I love all my people, but I'm not taking anyone new because it interferes with my schedule too much. So I love the people. I'm happy to continue with the people I have, but like probably won't ever take any new clients, I would say. But I'm really excited to do more events. I love doing the events, and I like that I can like compress all of this like focus and value into like one weekend. And I also like there's the added benefit that people get to know each other. So yeah, super, super excited to start events again. I'm really dying to do it. So I think I'm interesting. I definitely started as an introvert. I was like, if this is the scale and this is introvert and this is extrovert, I was like here starting out. Pickup brought me probably for a while, like to here all the way. And I think now I'm really somewhere in the middle. I need my alone time. I think a lot of the routine I have with my wife here at home is based around the idea that I need a lot of alone time. But yeah, something I learned in COVID is like, I also need time with my friends, or I like to have time with my friends. So I'm more introvert, but definitely elements of both. Getting to the important. What's up, Noah? Good to see you, man. Yes. Have you noticed the anodizing layer coming up? He said, I have. Yeah, actually, I noticed it when I was doing my gear post this year because I looked at the old picture I had and I thought, wow, it really looked a lot better then. I'm really neglecting my tea. If you're learning how to do tea, don't do it like I'm doing it. I'm overdoing everything. I haven't redone it yet. I feel like maybe it's just because the thing I bought is only 1 amp. I found it very hard to anodize. And like when it came out well, I was like, well, that's a miracle. I kind of got lucky on that one. And even I got an extra cup and I couldn't get it to look like the other ones. So I'm not sure. I don't invest in altcoins. I have a little bit of money in BitClout, which I think is like the stupidest thing ever, but sort of a friend had like a way to get in early, so I did, but I can't wait to sell it. I do think things like Uniswap, Vault, all those could be good. I think I'm not enough of an expert to know if they're good or not. And I also think there's like this rising tide thing where if they succeed, it also means Ethereum is succeeding. So the question is, when I look at a coin, am I happy to own this coin forever? Ethereum, yes. Bitcoin, sort of, although I sort of hate Bitcoin. In fact, I would say the only reason I really keep Bitcoin is because all my friends have it, and I don't want them to get rich without me. Maybe that's not the best reason to keep it. But I'm mostly Ethereum. The meme coins and stuff, it drives me nuts, like Dogecoin. I don't like it. Here's something funny, though, I'll tell you. My wife, a long time ago, bought Dogecoin, literally because she likes dogs. For years, I tried to get her to sell it. I was like, it's not going to be good. It's a dumb coin. It's a joke. You got to have your money in Ethereum, blah, blah, blah. Finally convinced her to sell it after years. Then it went up like 130x. Yeah, that was a rough one. So the next event will be in the US. It'll be in Vegas. It's just so easy for me to do them in Vegas. I have a perfect place that I rent. It's easy for people to get here generally. Lodging is cheap. There's like fun things people can do together. But I want to do a Budapest one as soon as I can. I'm just dying to go back to Budapest. And the Budapest was different. So when I do it in the US, it's really like very intense. Like we're just in that room working the whole time. At the end of every night, I like lie in bed and I can't even sleep. I'm just sort of like this. Budapest is a lot more social, where it's sort of like I try to take people around to my favorite stuff in Budapest, have cool experiences, but then we all take turns focusing on different people and we talk about what they're working on. So I was actually worried that people wouldn't like that one as much. In fact, even as I was doing it, I was like, I hope this is valuable for people. I don't know, maybe I'm just like an overpriced tour guide. But then everybody really liked it and I think got a lot out of it. So so we'll see. US, I only do Vegas, essentially. There are some other places I could do it, but if you're in the US, it's easy to get to Vegas, and it's just logistically so good. You're telling me I might go. I think in June, I'm just going to go just to go. We'll see. It seems like if I transit in Istanbul, it's like easy enough to get somewhere. So, I miss Europe. I really do. I actually never really felt like that connected with European culture until I visited like Central and Eastern Europe, and now I really like it. Sort of like how we were talking about earlier, like I always had good time. Like I had good times in South America, but never felt like I had to go back. I felt the same way about Europe. Like going to France and Spain, it's like, yeah, all right, they're fine, have a good time, but not drawn to them. If I only had the 100 to 500K mentioned, great question. How would I set up my life with it? So let's just say 250K. We'll just pick something in the middle just for fun. Or let's say 300K right in the middle. And again, this is what I would personally do, so you could do different things. I would put a lot of it into stable coins, USDC, and then I would stake them. I would probably stake them in a few different places. And I think you could pretty easily average a 10% return on that, maybe even a little bit better. So let's say I put half in that. That's 150K. Now I'm making 15K a year. I can already live off 15K a year, right? I could live in an RV, could live in a cheap apartment in Vegas. There's like a lot of ways to live off that. I would probably take the other half. I would put some part of it in Ethereum. Probably just Ethereum, something where I felt like it could get me to the next level eventually if it went up. I would also stake that Ethereum so that there's some like built-in appreciation. I might also put it in some centralized things like BlockFi where you're getting a little bit lower. I also have access to some investments that make like 8 to 9%, sort of loaning money to real estate developers that I know that I feel really comfortable with. There's like different ways you could basically get 10% on that. And like, I don't know, to me, 30K is a lot of money. Like not a lot, but it's like, it's enough that you can have all your time back. And so I think once you have enough money to have your time, and then by the way, with that time, I would be working on the next big thing. Because I think it's cool to make 30 a year and to survive and have all your time. I don't think that's really where you want to end up. Maybe some people do. But what I like about it most is that it affords you the luxury of having your time to work on the next thing to get to the next level. That's what I would do. All right, probably have like one or two more questions, and then I think I'm out for the day. I'm going to go hiking where I want to buy that little mountain cabin. So we're going to see what the area is like, see if it's something we would do regularly. Also, is anyone here that I would recognize who hasn't said hi yet? Just curious. I like seeing all the regular people. Thank you. I will. I also, the other thing I'm kind of excited about is that the hike is sort of like right at the limit of where my car could possibly, my electric car can make it, and I want to see if it'll make it up there or not. So we'll see. Oh, Ari's here too. Man, I like Ari. Ari is a fellow poker player, probably a lot better poker player than I am. Well, certainly a lot better poker player than I am. We played in the World Series of Poker together one time. All right, guys, I think there's no more questions. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm sorry I was gone for a few weeks in a row. I'll be back next week. So set an alarm, set a reminder. Let's do this again next week. I really like having you guys here. Oh, quick question. Do people prefer if I set a topic, or do you just like random questions? Yeah, maybe you guys can answer that before we go, and that'll kind of inform what I do next week. But I will be here next week, and then I probably won't be here the following week, but we'll see. We might be. The LLCs, properties. We do Wyoming LLCs. You do have to file something every year, but we don't have to really pay taxes because they don't make any money. It's easy. I actually have my VA do it for me. Yeah. I am tired today. I stayed up late. I've had so many days in a row of like sleeping 10 hours. And then last night I got so excited about this mountain cabin idea that I was like, I was up too late. And then I had to set an alarm for this. And when I set an alarm, that's not my natural, that's not my natural state for sure. Okay. Topic and open questions. Cool. I'm going to do that. Nice. Yep. Seems like that's what everybody likes. Good. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the feedback. Yeah, that's a good point, Noah. Both have their merits. Easy for me to think about questions to the set topic. Yeah, I was going to try to like tie them to what the blog posts were about, but then I thought probably nobody has any questions about the food in Hilo. So yeah, don't really need to do that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. You guys are amazing. Really, like it's the most fun day. People keep asking one more question. I don't even have a good answer. I'm not going to answer. I don't have a typical week. I just kind of putter around, work on the house. Nothing super exciting. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I'll see you next week. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for showing up. Really look forward to it. It's my favorite day of the week when I get to do it. See ya.